In a small, sleepy village where the most exciting news was usually the weekly market, there lived a curious boy named Tim. Tim loved exploring his grandfather's old barn, always hoping to find something mysterious. One rainy afternoon, he stumbled upon something truly strange, a large, rusty machine with blinking buttons and shiny pipes sticking out in all directions. On a golden plaque, the name Limo-Lux 3000 was engraved. Tim was fascinated. Without thinking twice, he pressed the biggest red button he could find. With a loud hiss, the machine started producing a glowing green liquid. The air filled with the scent of cotton candy and lemons. A lemonade machine! Tim exclaimed excitedly. But as soon as he took a sip, something incredible happened. His feet lifted off the ground, and he began to float. This was no ordinary machine. It was the start of an extraordinary adventure. Tim couldn't wait to tell his best friend Mia about his discovery. Mia was skeptical. "Floating lemonade? You must be dreaming," she laughed. But when she took a sip herself, she began to float too. "This is amazing," she exclaimed. Suddenly, Mrs. Meyer's old cat Max appeared, staring at them with its green eyes. To their shock, the cat spoke, "Why are you floating up there? And why haven't I ever gotten such tasty lemonade?" Tim and Mia were speechless. "The lemonade makes us float and lets animals talk," Tim said. But before they could question the cat further, Max added urgently, "Listen, I need your help. The raccoons in the forest are planning something big. They want to steal all the sweets from the village." Without hesitation, Tim and Mia decided to get to the bottom of this mystery. With Max, the talking cat, as their guide, the two ventured into the forest. After a long walk, they reached a massive oak tree with a hidden treehouse in its branches. It looked like a tiny fortress, complete with lights and a long rope bridge. "That's their hideout," Max whispered. Carefully, Tim and Mia crept closer. Peeking through a hole in the wall, they saw raccoons stacking chocolate bars and counting candy wrappers. "This is worse than I thought," Mia whispered. Suddenly, a branch snapped under Tim's foot, and the raccoons spotted them. "Intruders," shouted the leader of the gang, a large raccoon with an eye patch. Before Tim and Mia could react, they were surrounded by raccoons and brought into the treehouse. Inside the treehouse, the raccoons interrogated them. "Why are you here?" growled the leader. Tim's mind raced for a plan. Luckily, he still had a bottle of magical lemonade in his pocket. He opened it quietly and signaled to Mia. They both took a big sip and began to float. The raccoons stared in disbelief as the two floated through a hole in the roof of the treehouse. But the raccoons were clever. They found their own supply of lemonade and began floating after them. What followed was a wild chase through the forest. Tim and Mia weaved between trees with the raccoons close behind. "We need a plan," Mia shouted. Tim had an idea. He led the raccoons toward a riverbank where sticky berries grew in abundance. When the raccoons got close, Tim threw the berries at them, slowing them down as they got stuck. Tim and Mia managed to escape, but they knew the trouble wasn't over yet. Back in the village, things had taken a turn for the worse. The raccoons had figured out how to make the magical lemonade themselves and had returned ahead of Tim and Mia. Chaos reigned everywhere. Raccoons were flying through the air, stealing fruit from gardens and sitting on rooftops. "This is a disaster," Mia exclaimed. "We need to stop this before the whole village falls apart." Tim and Mia racked their brains for a solution. Finally, they decided to overload the machine to create a massive burst of lemonade that could trap all the raccoons at once. While Tim prepared the machine in the barn, Mia distracted the raccoons by waving a bottle of lemonade. "Over here," she shouted, leading the raccoons toward the barn. It was risky, but it had to work. Tim cranked all the machine's dials to their maximum settings. With a loud hiss, the Limo-Lux 3000 released a giant wave of fizzy lemonade that drenched the raccoons completely. The magical effect wore off, and the raccoons, now sticky and grounded, looked around in confusion. "What happened?" asked the leader. "You caused chaos in the village," Mia scolded them. Embarrassed, the raccoons apologized and promised to never steal again. Together, Tim and Mia helped guide the raccoons back to the forest, where they vowed to live peacefully. The village returned to normal, and the Limo-Lux 3000 had done its job, maybe a little too well. With the village safe again, Tim and Mia decided to shut down the machine for good. They stored the Limo-Lux 3000 securely in the barn, where no one could find it. "We should only use it in emergencies," Tim said, and Mia agreed. But before locking it up, they took one last sip and floated hand in hand through the air. laughing and enjoying the moment. This adventure had taught them an important lesson. With great power comes great responsibility. Smiling, they walked home together, ready for whatever challenges might come next. After all, they knew that as long as they stuck together, they could handle anything.